Okay, over the last few weeks and months, we've been exposing some of the weird stuff that's happening in Gaza, right? We focused on, for example, the IDF making mistakes, but also what the Islamist leadership in Gaza are doing, especially when it comes to humanitarian aid, stealing it, keeping it for themselves, and everything else. We also have this update now that the Hamas leadership have been dumping hundreds of kilos of rotten meat on the streets because they kept it to themselves and then they were full. They didn't give it to the civilians, they just got rid of it. The food is transported into Gaza in hundreds of trucks, but is then hijacked by the leadership, which instead of redistributing it for free, prefers to store the whole thing and try to sell it at high prices for profit. I mean, it's a genius move. Evil, but genius. They're literally getting free food from the United Nations, from you. It's your tax money. The Brits, the Americans, the Australians, the Canadians, all of us. But this is what happens. We actually have the video exposing the truth.
شايفين يا جماعة؟ شايفة كم دجاجة خربانة؟ صح هدول الغلابة بدأ فيهم. هدول قبل لا يخربن بيوم بصح بوزعها للغلابة. شايفين؟ الناس اللي مشتاقة تاكل.
قول حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل.
مشتاقة تاكل حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل بربوه في الشوارع ولا وزعوا للناس. الشوارع بربوه.
You can see the problem, right? Now, there are those on the political left and the globalist side who are going around suddenly pretending that they really care about Gaza, right? They are saying we need ceasefire now, we need the Jews to surrender. They didn't say anything before about people in Gaza. Right now, they don't even listen to some of the civilians in Gaza, including this man who is exposing the truth. Now, while a lot of people in Gaza have been supporting the Islamist leadership, they elected them, they celebrated on the 7th of October. There's also an element, a minority element, who are not too happy about the leadership in Gaza. And they've been speaking out. We on Tousi TV have I was becoming their voices to make sure that their voices are being heard. Whether they protested in small groups or some of these people trying to expose the leadership. Why is it that the so-called compassionate leftists in the West and the feminists and all the others, they're not listening to this man, for example? They only listen to Yahya Sinwar. They only listen to Ismail Haniyeh, who didn't even care that he lost 3 of his sons and grandchildren. He just stood there and said, I'm happy, because they're going to go and becoming martyrs. And they're going to go to afterlife and meet 72 goat virgins. That's the priority for the Islamist leadership in Gaza.